Did you know the human eye is one of the most amazing technologies? And yes, it is biological technology put together in ways that are virtually impossible to have happen through time, matter, and energy alone. If you count the parts from the inner and outer human eye, there are 24 separately named parts all working together to make it possible for us to have vision and to see things. It's truly amazing how they work. If you double those parts because each human has two eyes, then you get 48 named parts for the two eyes, which developed in exactly the same way at the same time, and then both eyes work together to form stereoscopic vision to give us the sense of depth, distance, and focus. Try looking at things with just one eye. It doesn't work so good. It's a good thing we are not a cyclops with just one eye. For the human eyes to work, these parts have to be designed and come together all at once in the first human, or the human eyes could not function. Even our eyelids and our blinking are very important parts of our eyes being able to function properly. But given the nature of the human body and how complex it is in ways that we still don't fully understand, that complexity either came about by accident through so-called evolution and time, or it came about by intentional design. It can only be one of the two ways. Oh, and aliens from other planets did not bring us here or make us. There is no good evidence for that having ever occurred. Plus, why would imaginary aliens from billions and trillions of miles away from Earth find and care about our small, insignificant planet? That makes no sense. Maybe you believe that Santa Claus is real, and he actually flies his sleigh at night through the air and delivers gifts down a chimney? There is more of a possibility that Santa is real and flying in the sky as compared to our bodies and all of its functioning parts having made themselves. It is very reasonable to believe that no amount of time could go by to give us the precise and complex functioning bodies that we have now, including all other life forms on our Earth, without something beyond the randomness of enough time and energy to have done it. There is just too much that needs to come together for the perfect composition and functionality of all life to believe otherwise. When you throw logic and rationality to the wind and believe in magic, where all things are just here by a freak accident that occurred billions or millions of years ago with no planning or design, then you believe in unrealistic magic potions. Or maybe you believe that nature and evolution somehow did at least a part of it by randomness with no thought, and that it just happened because it needed or had to happen. But none of this needed to happen. To understand that every bodily part is working in harmony with all our other body parts in a specific order, so that each one of us can work independently for decades as one cohesive unit, is astounding. Also, to believe all these incredible numbers of parts inside of us just happen to all get connected perfectly and in the order they needed to be in to work correctly is more than amazing. Check out this short video above of the human eye. The evidence will show that it is amazing technology which had to be designed. It's far too complex and perfect for any other reasonable conclusion. The body could not have designed itself. The body would be doomed for failure if left to itself to design itself. The human body technology is so vast and perfect that it needed a designer, someone who thinks. All these organic human parts working correctly all together, including the human eye, with millions of bodily messages constantly getting relayed to and from the brain, is beyond our comprehension. Many people just don't want to face reality that something or somebody made us and every other living thing on this planet. The power in being able to create all of these things would be off the charts. Incredible power. If something or someone did create us and every living thing in nature, then who or what is that creator? And can you and I ever know who that is and what that creator is all about? How can we possibly think that we came about by a random chance in time and that our complex existence just works? A person must suspend all rational thought to believe otherwise. You can't be an atheist or agnostic and be rational at the same time if you believe that. If you still believe in the random and unplanned existence of life that originally came from some sort of bubbling pit of organic ingredients millions or billions of years ago, then ultimately you are very stubborn and don't want to be seen as being wrong. Many people are stubborn like a mule because they have a lot of pride and don't want to give in. But for people to deny the obvious evidence of created life is to be very stubborn. because you don't want to be wrong. Maybe you don't want to submit to the fact that our bodies prove there is more than enough evidence to believe there is a very powerful creator outside of this world who made us and everything that we and our world contain. You just want to live with a faulty belief that our amazing bodies became themselves by sheer coincidence and chance over time. We call a person like that a stubborn mule. I believe it is impossible for chance to give us life and the things we need to exist. Evolution is not a force which thinks or is alive. It does not have a central command within itself. Evolution would be like trying to put a square peg in a round hole when it comes to how we are made. We can speculate and ask questions about other things, like why is there evil in the world? Why can't everything and everybody be good? Why can't we live forever? Why can't we all think alike and get along with each other? Why is there human suffering, etc.? These questions are all reasonable and important to think about, but those questions do not negate us humans from being created and being unique. Speaking of unique, did you know that no two humans on Earth have the same fingerprints? There are approximately 8 billion people living on Earth right now, along with billions who have died over the years. Yet there is not one person with the same fingerprints as another person. Yes, this is true. In other words, no two fingerprints have been found to be identical, even with identical twins. Fingerprints are also different for each finger. Every digit on our hands has a different ridge pattern, which produces a different fingerprint. Imagine 8 billion people plus all the people in history who have died, and not one of us has fingerprints like the other. The chance of two people having the identical fingerprint is said to be approximately 1 in 64 trillion. So the odds of that happening are extremely low. With 8 billion people alive today, plus all the people who ever lived having unique fingerprints on all fingers, this fact alone negates evolution. Why? Because for us to survive, we do not need different, unique fingerprints. So why do we have them? As long as our body parts work and we can survive and thrive, then uniquely different fingerprints in each person are not needed. What would be the purpose for unique and individual fingerprints? We could survive and thrive with identical fingerprints or a mix of fingerprints with some being the same and some different. Plus, how would evolution all by itself be able to produce individual fingerprints on 8 billion people, plus all other people who have ever lived that never repeat in any other person? Ever. It would otherwise have to be an unplanned accident. Think about that. With no two people out there having the same fingerprints, this is concrete evidence to me that each one of us is unique, and therefore we are special. Fingerprints never change either. When one of us dies or is killed, we have lost a unique and one-of-a-kind individual. We are not all the same no matter how we look or act. Each one of us is different. Evolution could not have produced billions upon billions of unique humans with different fingerprints. So-called evolution, for those people who believe it exists, would not know one person from the next because evolution is not an ethereal force which thinks. Evolution does not compare one human to the next when a human is developing in the womb and then is born. Evolution cannot think. Evolution in the process of supposedly continued evolution does not have a brain. Thousands or millions or billions of years of time would not cause different fingerprints on all 10 fingers for each human life, beginning in the womb before birth. Time and chance could not do that. It's not rational or logical to believe otherwise. Add all that up and what do you get? The possibility that a force called evolution could randomly give us all different fingerprints is so small that it would be like all the grains of sand in the entire world being the same size and the same color, which they are not. Only a creator of some type could give us all different fingerprints. Denying this reality is denying the facts of life and the impossibility that all of these things happen just by chance. It is not rational or logical to believe in fairy tales. Our bodies exist with all the evidence needed to make a rational decision about life and how it got here. Once you decide that chance and time could not have gotten us here in the bodies we have, then it's completely rational to want to know why things are the way they are and look for the answers. Some things in life do not make sense to us, but those questions and thoughts do not disprove a creator. Our bodies prove there must be a creator as opposed to there not being a creator. Something or someone all-powerful, all-knowing, and completely able to create us did create us. It's rational to think that way. Maybe you do believe in God, but if your definition of who and what God is and how He operates is not true, then you do not have the truth and will be held back in your life in eternity by false hopes and a false God. AI, artificial intelligence, is the big new topic of conversation in our society these days. But no matter what becomes of AI, the fact is that humans make it and create it. AI doesn't exist outside of a maker because it cannot create itself from scratch. Well, at least not at this point. The same is true of us. We cannot exist outside of a maker because our bodies prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, and we are vastly more complex than AI because we are biological. Our known complexity should be enough evidence for the existence of an all-powerful creator. Our brains are so amazing in the many ways they work that our memory can actually smell smells that we have smelled before in the past, even when those smells are not there anymore. How does that work? The same is true for taste. We can taste things in our memories that we have tasted before, even when those tastes are not actually there anymore. The human brain is way beyond what it physically appears to be. In an article in Scientific American, the memory capacity of a human brain was shown to have equal to 2.5 petabytes of memory capacity. A petabyte means 1,024 terabytes or 1,000,000 gigabytes, so that the average adult human brain can accumulate the equivalent of 2.5 million gigabytes of memory. In a study conducted by Stanford University, the human brain compares constructively with the most authoritative modern computers. The cerebral cortex in the human brain is proficient in possessing 125 trillion synapses, which may include as much as 2.5 petabytes of overall memory capacity. All of that memory is located in a small region in the brain called the hippocampus. This region of brain memory allows the brain to remember what we see, taste, smell, touch, and hear. And then the brain by itself organizes these memories for instant recall when the need occurs, which could be seconds from now or years from now. Our brains and minds are beyond a coincidental accident of nature, coming randomly from time, energy, and matter, given the overwhelming complexity of what we are as humans. But you can still try to avoid that reality and believe the human brain and all other earthly life-form brains just happened to come about in some other way and then continue to change and improve because it had to, all by itself. You may still want to avoid the reality of the overwhelming evidence within the human body for a powerful creator, because then you are not your own God anymore. You would have to give up your own so-called intelligence, pride, and self-reliance, and stop closing your eyes to the truth of a creator. However, once a creator is acknowledged and accepted, and you learn the truth of who or what this creator is, then everything in nature easily falls into place and makes sense. If you begin to believe, or you have come to the realization that there must be a creator, then how can you find out more about this creator? Is it possible to find out who this creator is and what this creator is all about? Does this creator have a singular truth behind it? A lot of people ask the questions of, why am I here? And is there anything more beyond this life once my body gives up and I die? If there is a creator, then by default, this creator has to be much greater than all of us and our world put together. Our bodies, along with nature, are so incredible that it's actually much more difficult to believe we were not designed and made. Wouldn't you like to know for sure if this world and our mortal life is all there is? How sad it is for all of us if this is our only reality. We come, we live, and then we die. To just disappear forever, never to have life again, and then be disposed of in a dark pit forever. Just like buried trash, which then deteriorates until there is nothing remaining? Doesn't that bother you at all? In other words, it's just over? No more colors, no more music, no more food, no more breathing, no more talking, no more walking, no more love, no more nature, no more anything. You simply dissolve, disappear, maybe placed in a box underground with a small plaque or gravestone saying who you were, in the years you were alive? Or worse yet, your ashes are just scattered somewhere like you were never here at all? Your amazing functioning body erased with nothing more? Or maybe you are a religious person and you believe that your religion, your goodness, and your religious rituals will somehow magically get you to a good eternal place because you were religious and participated in specific rituals? Or that you were a so-called good person, or you were born into a specific group of people? If we believe that everything in existence all happened by accident or by chance, then all we are is an accident of nature with no real meaning beyond just existing. Is that what we want? To walk off the cliff of life into an abyss of perpetual darkness, utterly useless and without lasting meaning, and never being loved or cared about again? If you want to go beyond yourself and beyond your pride, then you must plan for and think about your eternal future now. This is not planning for a funeral or memorial service, but it is thinking about being forever in eternity. Don't enter your eternal future and just hope for the best. That would be a bad decision. Thinking that you somehow deserve an eternity in a better place will get you nowhere, and your so-called goodness will not get you there either. No one is out there keeping score on your goodness or badness. In comparison to everything in our universe, human beings are smaller than grains of sand. We are not important as far as the universe is concerned. Wishful thinking will get you nowhere good beyond this life unless we have a solid eternal plan that we can count on. Do you want to know more about life and eternity before it is too late? Truth in your eternity does not care about your devotion to or your sincerity about something in this life if it is not true. Maybe you are religious and pray and or involved in religious rituals. There are more than 30 different religions and denominations out there, and everyone believes they have the truth. But only one or none of them can have eternal truth, because none of them are the same. If what you believe about your religion is not actually true, then you are praying to nothing or to a false god or to a myth, or you have yet to find the truth of life and eternity. You will never have eternal hope and assurance that way. You need the truth that will set you free and give you real hope and assurance before death comes to get you. Set aside your pride and stubbornness that causes you to think you know it all, and look for the assurance right now that you so desperately want and need. Do you want more colors, more light, and more happiness forever, or a dark pit of eternal loneliness forever? The choice is yours. When you take your last breath, make sure you are ready. Want to know more? Please ask me.